Welcome to Walking the Earth, Turkey. Today we are at the Gallipoli battle sites from World War I on the Gallipoli Peninsula in the Republic of Turkey near Çanakkale. So we're right near the Anzac Cove area where quite a few groups came ashore to battle the Ottomans. There was an attempt from the Russians, the Brits, and the French to go and destabilize the gunneries and the gun batteries along the Dardanelles and the Bosphorus and up to the Bosphorus, so that they could take Constantinople and basically destroy the powers of the Ottomans and take them out of World War I, out of the conflict. I guess the Ottomans were brought in 1914 when they bought some ships. Like I read that they bought some ships that had German commanders and a German admiral, and they did some kind of raiding in the Black Sea region against the Russians, and this leads to Ottoman involvement in World War I. Sounds like something shady happened, but I've never studied World War I extensively, and it's like, from the American side, it's like the Americans got into the conflict late in the war, and so it's always when we're learning history, it's a lot of it is left out. But this is very beautiful. This area, we're on the Gallipoli Peninsula on the Aegean side. The Dardanelles are east of here. This is very beautiful here along the beachfront. This formation up here is one of the most distinctive formations in the area. It's called the Sphinx. It's very lovely here, and just crazy to think that so much suffering, so much death occurred here under horrendous conditions, and how many innocent people were dragged into the war through conscription, through draft. And then obviously on the Ottoman side, you had a very diverse group of people in the empire who were fighting on the side of the Ottomans, including Turks and Greeks and Armenians and Arabs. Huge variety of peoples. On the invading side, my understanding is you would have had Great Britain, so that's Scots, Welsh, Cornish peoples, Irish, Northern Irish. You would have had the Canadians, and as well as Kiwis from New Zealand, and Australians, and so it's like a huge variety of people. And then on the French side, I think the Russian Navy was participating, giving naval support from gunships. And then you had on the French side, and also on the British side, you had Indians, so basically South Asians. So that would have been people, the ancestors of modern day Indians and Bangladeshis and Pakistanis. Maybe there were Sri Lankans on their side, and people from throughout the British Raj and the British Empire. On the French side, you had West Africans, you had North Africans. There would have been Muslims fighting against Muslims, Christians fighting against Christians. This was, World War I was the Great War, and it was a great slaughter. Of course, it was a malhama of sorts, maybe a foreshadowing, maybe an expansion across time and space, and that's a different video. But this is a really lovely location for something so horrific, where so many lost their lives, where so many were wounded and maimed for life, not to mention the psychological traumas. How many children lost their fathers? How many parents lost their children? How many wives lost their husbands? It's, children lost lost their fathers. It's like war is hell, and we need to come out of this horror that a small group of people keep on getting innocents involved in, and it seems like there are occultic purposes behind it, hidden purposes. It's not just for resources, but for something else. So but here we are, the Gallipoli battlefields. Just taking a quick look around at the shoreline. You know, we would have seen gunships and invading parties and gun batteries. And, you know, this is in the comments. Please recommend a good documentary that documents this horrific event. And if there are any movies that might include some fairly well done, historically accurate battle scenes. I need to know more about World War I and these events. I found that sometimes in studying history and culture, if you go to a place and you feel it, you have a multisensory experience of a location, then it makes it more real, and then further studies, they come to life, and we can come into insight and understanding more easily. So looking forward to hearing from you. I'd like to hear your thoughts if you've visited the site. I mean, obviously I'm just going to be here very quickly, so I don't have time to dive in deep. And also I don't normally go on guided tours, but because I know so little about this, it would have been ideal to have done this. This is more of a spontaneous trip. It's a beautiful site, and it looks like it's well taken care of. It's just, as we're driving through, we're seeing so many cemeteries, memorials, so much respect to those who have fallen, and their families, and you know, we pray that we can come out of this era of wars and destruction that it seems like people are trying to ramp up from more